Hello and welcome to All in Motion. I am your host, Jake. Thank you all for taking the time to tune in. And thank you to my guest for taking his time out of his busy schedule to sit down with All in Motion. This is episode 25, Performance Enhanced Therapy. My next guest is not only a good friend. Over the years, he's helped me deal with my pain, and he is my massage therapist. He's been doing it for a long time, very passionate about it. Passionate is such a strong word. This guy is the definition of passion. Ladies and gentlemen, Daniel Risco. Danny,
Jake,
how we doing, sir?
chillin'.
Hey, man, it's good to see you. Wow, man. I know we were trying to set this up, and we finally came to fruition.
It's been months, I know.
Oh,
busy lives.
You know,
We tried to do it over the summer and it just didn't work.
Didn't happen, but no, man. So you and I met, basically through massage therapy, and then just to get right into it, and we'll give a little backstory a little bit. But no, for you, man, like you're from the DMV, but no, what really been doing it for 15 years now? What really made you want to take the leap and to pursue a career in massage therapy?
You know, I didn't know that I was going to get into it. I honestly did not know that I was going to get into it. I was going to law school. I was
Really?
I was going to become a lawyer.
Oh, wow.
My brothers have always told me, you're very argumentative, you're clear about what you're saying, you're clear about, you get your point across, and if you just get an education in law, you can be the best lawyer in DC. I believe them. But then when I got into it and I started being a paralegal, I just decided, no. This is just too much. I can't sit here and literally lie to people all day long. I just can't do it.
So you got into massage therapy, been doing it for 15 years, and then you made a decision after you're really grinding it out. You're like, you know what? You're at Massage Envy, correct me if I'm wrong, correct?
No, you were definitely correct. Yeah.
And then you transition, you're like, you know what? I'm going to go off my own and do my own thing and start my own practice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you want, I can give you a brief history of how that happened.
Sure.
I was at Massage Envy for the past 10 years, or not even the past 10 years. Since 2007, I've been at Massage Envy. After I got my license, that was the first place I went to. When I got hired, I was the happiest person in the world. They tell you in school that you have to eventually become a specialist in something. So you got to find that passion. And Massage Envy, actually, I'm not going to lie to you, it helped me a lot. It helped me find sports therapy, recuperative medicines, and not just, the regular fluff and buff of what spas do and everything. Massage Envy did pave the road for me. But eventually I did become a specialist to do more sports therapy, more for people who sustained injuries, more for people who were looking for something a lot more focused because, general massage was no longer enough for them. So that's how I started becoming a sports medicine therapist. And then at year 10, I started thinking, I need to do more. There's something else. Massage Envy has brought me this far, yes. But what am I going to do to get further? And then that's when I started contemplating, okay, let me go ahead and start doing management with Massage Envy. At the time, I was in Atlanta, Georgia. And I stopped being a therapist for a while. And I started doing front desk. Then after front desk, I went into assistant management. And after assistant management, I became a general manager, all within the time frame of a year and a half. And then after I came back from Georgia, I decided I'm going back into massage therapy. But now I had all that experience, and I decided after 12 years, I'm going to try and make it on my own. And so far, 4 years later, I'm pretty successful. I'm not exactly where I wanted to be by now, but I'm also very happy exactly where I'm at. And I want to continue and get much, much better, do much, much more.
Yeah, you kind of touched on it, right? Like, what are some of those challenges that you faced, and having start your own practice?
I'm not even gonna lie to you. Being male.
Really?
Yeah, the fact that I'm a guy going out on my own, nobody believed that I was gonna make it too far because, everyone has a stigma of male therapists.
So you think it's a female-dominated type of profession compared to males?
It's a female preferred profession.
Wow.
Versus males. Males still dominate. Don't get me wrong.
And massage therapy in general.
Yes, in massage therapy in general, people do seek males because of the stamina that we're able to hold.
Of course.
The strength that we're able to use.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, females can be trained to do all of that. But it's still a female preferred profession.
Wow. What a stigma.
It is, but you know what?
It is what it is, but
I've never actually seen that as a barrier or even a hurdle.
Well, that's awesome. You confront it head on, right?
Yep, every day.
Going right into it, and you kind of just spoke about it, different types of massage therapy, and we'll get into how you and I met in a second. Could you speak on that a little bit, and then we'll go into like a little bit about like again how you and I met?
Oh yeah.
Like you've been doing it for a minute now, so.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so you have your Eastern medicines, your chakras, your balancing, your chi, and all these other, modalities that help you spiritually through touch. Okay. And then you have your Western medicines, which is more physical. You have your stretch, your deep tissue, your myofascial, your Thai massage, your Japanese shiatsu. You have all of these modalities.
The Swedish, I just want to add, the Swedish is like the big one, right? Or no? Is it
the Swedish is the most heard of. So it's the one that's most recognized.
Okay.
But it's actually the least popular.
No, I'm sorry. I just want to, because to break the, people are very familiar with that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to.
Oh, yeah. Because Swedish massage is the quote unquote, the relaxing one, the one that makes you feel the best.
Right.
But these days, particularly here in the United States, the Swedish massage is anything but popular. Everybody wants a deep tissue. Everybody wants a sports therapy here in the United States. Everybody wants something that's a lot more focused, something that's a lot more them. Something that can keep them in high spirits and good performances. So, yeah.
Right, and I mean, and that walks right into it. Excuse me. With you and I, when I first met you, the woman where I grew up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
After I got back from Afghanistan, when I was over there, I think I told you the whole situation. Through multiple deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan, through what I was doing.
Yep.
I found out I had sciatica. It was the horrific pain I ever felt at Fort Bragg, down in my left leg. It was horrible. I later got over to Afghanistan. I saw he was a lieutenant colonel, chiropractor, but he was, that was his job. And he's like, you'd have to go to Germany because they didn't have an MRI machine in Bagram, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Later got back. I was able to deal with it. Got back and found out I had initially an L5-S1 herniation. Moving forward into 2000 and in the 15, and then even before that, because we got back in 08, I have dealt with that. I've been dealing with it since 08.
Yeah.
But they found out like it's L5-S1 herniation with degenerative disc disease.
Correct.
I'll let you speak on that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But before I get there, the lady that I saw, well, she's younger than me, and she knows who she is. I saw her through a chiropractor where I'm from in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Yep. After I would see a chiropractor, I saw her, and then after that, she had her own business outside, and she would see me. I've then found out about Trigger Point.
Right.
And
that's a big
where
one. That is such a good one. But go ahead.
And I just want to finish the story because it really brings home for the podcast, but then definitely allowing me to share my injury, and obviously with someone that has treated me like yourself. And can I bring context and explain to the audience, you're the professional, and me coming to you about almost 7 years ago at this point, I remember now, what she did. And I told you I moved here so I couldn't see her anymore, but that Trigger Point and then the injuries that I do have how you've been able to help me and things of that nature, and other clients that suffer from different sports therapy or combat injuries, or anything that related to that type of physical activity.
Right. And this is exactly why I decided to become a specialized therapist within sports therapy and recuperative medicines. So basically what Trigger Point does is it helps you particularly with things like degenerative disc. Now, when you get degenerative disc, it basically means that the disc between your bones is starting to deteriorate. So it's starting to thin out, and all of the liquids that are inside are starting to become crystallized because it has nothing else to become. So you basically, in all essence, we have arthritis of your lower back. And that puts a strain on all the nerves, which is why you were feeling that sciatic pain, right?
Yes.
Then you had that herniation. So not only did you have the degenerating disc, but you also had
L5S. Not to interrupt you. L5S1.
yes. But not only did you have that disc particularly deteriorating, but you also had it slipped out of place.
Right.
So you're getting so much pain,
Right.
because the nerves are just, for lack of a better phrase, they're fucking choked out.
Right. Oh, you're good.
And then
You're fine.
so what Trigger Point does is it basically tries to, all the muscles around the area that's affected. Trigger Point starts releasing all the muscles so that you have a better way of moving. It's not so restricted. Your nerves can actually breathe. And then with a little bit more focus, we can probably get the disc to kind of go back into the direction it's supposed to be. But unfortunately, because of your deterioration, it's going to come back.
Can you tell the people out there the pain that it feels like when you first go through? She did it to me before I met you.
Yes, yes.
And that was in 2010, I want to believe, 2009, when she started. When I go through the chiropractor, and then I saw her outside.
Yes.
That was very painful to go through Trigger Point therapy.
Yes.
Could you explain what to someone that never been? It's not massage. You're not going to get a massage like a Swedish massage. Can you explain to people, like, it's not like, oh, I'm going to go to Massage Envy and get a massage today.
Right. No. Trigger Point, when you first start receiving Trigger Point, because it is a therapy, it is a therapeutic type of massage, it's not supposed to be roses and flowers and gumdrops, and it's none of that. It is a painful process, because we have to get to your pain through your pain, and there's no way around it. So we have to literally loosen up all the muscles around the pain, and then we have to go into the pain to loosen up the muscles within it. So, when someone like you who had these injuries comes in to get a massage, you already know, like, you always tell me, you know what to do. It's that left side.
Right. Oh, no.
And I already know. But, when you first came to me, it's not like you were, I felt really bad, because I was on the second floor and I didn't have elevator. So you had to walk up those stairs, and you you were having spasms.
Yeah, spasm back then, yeah.
And so even before the Trigger Point happens, you're already in pain, brother. Like, so you're sitting here literally just spasming out at every step. And the only way I could treat you is go around it first and then go into it.
And I want to talk a little bit, if you don't mind, and I hope this is a good segue into why is stretching so important?
For someone like you, it is paramount. I'm not even going to say just important. It is paramount. It is a necessity to do stretching, because you have a deterioration. And in order for you to alleviate that deterioration, you have to do basically the stretching so that you can open up the area. So when the more you open up, the nerves are able to breathe better. So you're constantly stretching. For you is not just one of those things that you do to make you feel better. No, it's one of those things that you do so that you can move without being restricted.
Right.
And when I did that stretching to you, remember at the end we felt that little pop?
Yes.
Okay, so everybody's like, oh, so you're a chiropractor too? No, that's actually just
That's not a bone. No, not to interrupt you. That's not a bone.
Correct, that's not a bone.
That's a ligament.
That is a ligament. And basically that little pop is basically just releasing gases that were within that ligament, holding it out.
See, a lot of people don't know that.
And that's called a subluxation. So
Like, I'm not gonna try to repeat that
well,
back to you.
it's okay. It's okay. I mean,
No,
like,
I mean,
this is what I'm here for. I'm here to explain
Educate,
these things for
for
you
sure.
guys. This. So that little pop is just a whole bunch of, like a little gas bubble that got stuck in there. During all of your movement, during all of everything, that wasn't able to escape through your pores.
Right.
And so it gets stuck in there. It calcifies every now and again. When you get that little stretch and you're able to feel that crack, that's a subluxation. And basically that's just the release of that. It is just a release of the gas that was stuck in between.
Okay. And can we talk briefly about stones?
Yes, of course. Whatever you want.
What's the no, whatever I want. I want to educate people out there that these are some of the biggest techniques that in my opinion, especially with sports therapy, or someone that's been injured with similar injuries like myself, military, they could benefit from.
Of course.
Stones are hot, right?
Yes, I either heat them up or I keep them in a cool area where, like, they're not going to be heated up, because I can do hot stone therapy or cold stone therapy. It depends on, or sometimes I even have to mix them when it comes to sports therapy. So for instance, like someone like you, when I have to really focus on that lower back of yours, after I loosen up the area with my deep tissue therapy, I then have to use the trigger point therapy to make sure that, you don't have little wayward knots.
I feel like you're always freeing knots in my back.
Well, because you have an injury, brother. Like, it's already
told.
Like I told you, for you, unfortunately, it is a
I know.
constant thing.
Yeah.
So I got to use the deep tissue to smooth everything out. Then I got to use the trigger point therapy to make sure that whatever knots are in there or calcified objects are moved out. Then I got to do that. Then I have to use the cupping in order for me to go ahead and make sure that your muscles are going to be able to move on their own without my help after that. And then the heat is basically expanding the muscle so that more circulation, more blood can get through. And eventually you can sleep without having to wake up. You can go ahead and stretch and move. You're not going to feel restrictions, and then ultimately, because of the heat, when your muscles feel warm, doesn't it feel like a hug?
Right. No,
and what do we say that, this is where I'm going to go ahead and segue into your guest, Nicola.
Yes.
These
talking
small
about
things.
not that big oxytocin, which is 20 minutes a day.
I'm telling
Is that
you.
referring to? I'm sure
Yes,
she won't respond.
I'm not gonna lie. Everybody should listen to that particular.
It's episode 23.
Yes, this woman is amazing.
Thank you.
I was so impressed with her. I
Thank
am
you, man.
definitely impressed with her.
Appreciate that.
But she is so right when it comes to not just human interaction, but the causes of, and that's why I feel that this is important. Because what I do is I try to use touch to heal people.
Right.
And she says that touch is healing people. So
Right.
we should definitely and I'm glad we're doing this because, this also brings awareness to people. Like, don't think that just because someone has a PhD and they can subscribe you things like, what do we call it? Oxycontin?
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Or hydrocodone or whatever, just because they can prescribe you something doesn't mean that it's the best for you.
Correct.
At times, the best medicine for you is the fact that you can interact with someone and have them put you in a place of actual balance and stasis.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you, man, being open and honest and vulnerable. That's awesome, man.
Of course, of course.
What I want to touch on, how many percentage of your patients do you think you see that are very you got to spend a lot more attention to than you would a normal client, if that makes sense?
The good thing is I do have a lot of what we consider to be regulars.
Okay.
I do have a good amount of regulars who do come in and see me, yourself included. I do have regulars who come in monthly. I do have regulars that come in bi-weekly, and I do have regulars that come in weekly. And these people, you know, they are, if I can share this,
For sure.
military. These
Yeah,
people
yeah.
are military. You know, they have a necessity for maintenance. They have a necessity for healing. They have a necessity for, you know, just overall alleviation. They have a necessity for it.
Right.
You know, and so I do what I can, honestly. I definitely do what I can, and not to try and toot my own horn here or
No, you're
anything,
good.
but
You're
I do offer discounts for people who are military.
I appreciate that.
Of course, I have 2 brothers that served, so thank you.
Well, thank you. So you walked into it. I'm going to get a little vulnerable here, so I apologize.
Go ahead, please do.
Talking about, you brought up Nicola, thank you so much.
Mhm.
Mental health and massage therapy
Oh,
for relaxation.
yes.
So
Yes.
we walk into it. How important and how big is it for you, and why do you think it can and really help, especially, you know, look at our country today, right, coming out of COVID,
Oh yes,
isolation, and
man. You want to know something? That
you don't have a question before I'm going to go mental health.
COVID killed me.
Well, that's in terms of business. I mean, I'm not trying to. It's,
No. As far as business go, COVID did not kill me actually, but
I know. I know you mean
personally.
Yeah.
just me personally, and this is why that interview with Nicola, like, you know, hit home for me, because it personally it did kill me. But anyways, I'm
No, you're good, man. You can be open here, man. It's all good. You can be vulnerable, dude. I got you.
of course, you know,
It's all good, man.
I am such a person who needs,
Dude, it's all good, man.
I need people to be around me. I need to heal someone. I need to speak to people. I need to have face-to-face conversations. I need to touch someone's hand and let them know things are going to be fine. You know, that's just me. I'm a caretaker. That's what I
Absolutely.
do. So when we weren't allowed to do that,
Yeah, the guy hurt you, man.
oh my gosh, my spirit was hurt.
Right.
Everything about me was hurting. Everything inside of me was just screaming like, we need to heal someone.
Right.
And
That's tough.
it was definitely a rough time personally. Now professionally,
Right.
I will tell you, I never actually had to close my practice because my practice was one-on-one.
Right.
I never had a group of people working for me. I never had a group of people working with me. So as you know, you came to my office and it was always just yourself and me.
Right.
I would lock the door, and then when we were done, you know, you were out and I would be cleaning until my next person came in.
Right.
You know, and I would get the phone calls from people. What are you doing to comply with COVID regular, you know, what do you call that? COVID rules or whatever, you know.
I'm talking about maybe guidelines or something.
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah.
COVID guidelines or the
Right.
FDA.
Yeah,
something
what
like
are you
that.
doing to comply? And I'm sitting here like, well, first of all, I'm one-on-one. So
Right.
there's,
Right.
you know, there's no group of 6 people in my office at any one time.
Right.
You know, so there's that guideline check, you know, and since it's only one-on-one, I mean, like, you know, as soon as you come into my office, you smell Lysol
Absolutely. Yeah.
because, you know, even before COVID happened, I was one of those people going out to Walmart because, you know, Lysol was on sale for $5.
Mm-hmm.
I was that person. So I would buy cans and cans and cans of Lysol. I was always the one overbuying sanitizer because, you know, it was for my business. I have to have it. I was doing all the CDC things before it became cool.
Right.
Before 2020, when it all became cool and everybody was saying, well, what are you doing? Well, if you knew who I was, then you would know that I'm a very OCD person.
Right.
I need a clean environment.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, you know, mental health and stress.
Mm-hmm.
How do you see massage therapy? You know, really tackles that.
You know, I had a really good answer for this one, and it's basically, in order for one to happen, the other one will benefit.
Okay.
So I know that there's a saying for people that say, you know, you can't have one without the other, but in this particular case, you can.
Can you break that down?
Okay, so if your body is feeling well, will your mind feel well?
Not always.
Not always. And if your mind is feeling good, is your body responding?
Not always.
Not always. But in this case, for massage particularly, I always just say, if you have one, the other will benefit. So if you're
the late results will happen, vice versa, regardless.
correct. So if you're feeling, let's just say, wonderful one day, and you want to attack the world, and you want to say, hey, you know what? Today I'm gonna have this for lunch, and I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna get this done, and I'm gonna get that done. That's a mind thing, but your body has to follow what your mind says. But will your body comply all the time? Not always. And vice versa. Sometimes your body is feeling so energized, but your mind is kind of down.
Right. Right.
But your mind still goes along and tries to be the positive thing it can be for the body, because the body is like, I am ready. So as long as one is feeling at 100%, the other one will benefit from it. You just got to kind of bring it up. And sometimes I find that myself particularly, I'm like at 100 on both ends. When you're starting to feel anxiety,
yes,
when you're starting to feel,
yes,
when you're starting to feel like some things are just not, or everything is just not working.
Right.
A good thing to do is actually press that spot, that soft tissue in between your thumb and index finger.
Okay.
Just kind of squeeze it. And I'm sorry.
You're good.
you gotta feel that little bit of pain,
I got you.
And that kind of centers you back.
It's almost like a pressure point.
Yes, it is a pressure point that is designed particularly to bring you back to Jesus, because you have to take your mind off of what's causing that anxiety, so that you can go ahead and start thinking, okay, let me sort things out.
Right.
The more you can sort things out, the better prepared you can be. But if you're going to just sit there and be anxious because of a natural disaster that's scheduled to come up, I mean, you've had time to prepare.
Right.
So stop being anxious, just prepare,
Right.
And if you have to bring yourself back to Jesus, that little spot in between the index finger and the and the thumb, that fleshy area, just compress it.
Right.
And bring yourself back. Start thinking about it. Take deep breaths. Sort.
Right. Well, you just touched on it, but it just leads right into it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do when you're like freaking out, stressed out, and you're in your life and I know you and I spoke about it offline.
Yeah.
If you don't mind me sharing, you do you do a lot of personal meditation, things of that nature. Anything else that you do to when you're like, going through it and you're like, I just need to step back.
I pray. I'm not even lying to you. I pray. My brothers and I, with my family, we grew up evangelists. And the only thing we know how to do is to pray. Okay, we pray for everything. We pray in the morning when we wake up. Okay, the first things we do is, thank you for allowing me serenity while I slept. Right. That's the only way, we say, God, thank you for covering me. Then when I'm working, based on what the person tells me that they need, I pray over them while I'm in session.
And they don't know you're praying over them.
They don't know I'm praying over them.
That's deep.
They don't know I'm praying over them, but that's what I do, because how do you think I get to find a lot of the trigger points that you have, Jacob? I'm praying over you so that God can tell me, like, here.
I appreciate that.
Here, there, and then, all right, finish this off with hot stone. Finish this off with this. Finish this off with that. Move on.
Right. It's a lot of energy, right? Energy work, right?
It's a lot of energy work.
Right. It's deep.
It's a lot.
And that's why I circle around with some of the people I've interviewed. I think it's a good point for me to bring it up. I mean, to see the people like Nicola,
that mentor guy, the guy, I think it was like episode
Luis. Yeah, Luis, but there's been a few others as well. But no, I mean, you see, it's good because people need to, just because someone might have a PhD or an MD doesn't mean that someone else, you know what I mean?
Right. Correct.
You know what I mean? And that's why you just spoke about her. You know what I mean? It's very powerful. And so I appreciate that.
Yeah, that is a very powerful woman, I got to tell you.
Yeah, she likes me enough to come on here 2 times, I guess. I
She
appreciate
is a
that.
very powerful woman. I do
All right,
respect her.
what did you like about it the most? And not that, if you don't mind, and then we'll come back on track. We're not getting off track, but what about that episode that really hit home for you the most?
All of her humor.
Really,
She was able to make a joke out of every serious situation that she spoke to you about. Did you not notice that?
I know. She interviewed me twice
I,
on both my interviews. She's the only one that's ever done that on
I'm telling
Motion
you.
podcast. So
and that's what I'm telling you. This
she's
woman is
a
a
beast. She's a
seriously
beast.
powerful woman.
I know.
You know, and the thing is, the best part about her is her humility. Like
Right.
she is, I'm telling you, all I had to do was listen to the episode 7 and episode 23, and I'm telling you, this woman just made such an impression on me. She is
That's awesome.
fantastic.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, definitely. That's awesome. So, touching on the last few things here, what
Sure.
advice would you want to give someone that wanted to pursue? I mean, like, geez, you feel like you just, you kind of have a book you could write now, man. I mean, if you think about it, I mean, like,
Do you know how many people tell me that?
no, but I mean, like, it's pretty deep. You've been through a lot, and then definitely like what advice would you give someone though that wanted to pursue a career in massage therapy? Then,
Thank you for asking that, because you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go into another episode that you did about another powerful woman.
Wow. Okay. Oh, geez.
Brother, I follow you. I'm not
No,
even
I know.
gonna-
I appreciate
you know,
man.
I follow you, and I
appreciate
listen
it,
to your
brother.
podcast.
Thank you, man.
Because this
I
is
appreciate
amazing. It really is.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Who are we talking about?
The Doctor, episode 15.
Ikra. Dr.
Yes,
Ikra.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Dr. Ikra. Yeah,
Yeah.
she,
What she did in ICU was amazing, right? During COVID.
brother. I'm telling you,
Can you tell people that have not listened what impressed you the most about that? Because
yes.
it's very powerful.
I'm telling you, this woman caught me with something, and I'm gonna just use her same example. When someone wants to pursue a career in massage therapy, I tell them, do you have a plan B and a plan C? And when they say yes, I literally tell them, go with those. Don't go for your plan A, because you will never make it.
Mm.
That's
what she said.
That's exactly what she says. Do you have a plan B and C? Because if you do, go for those. Because if plan A is not your 100%, then you are not going to make it in this field. And that really stuck with me and resonated with me, because you see so many massage therapists. I'm really not going to lie to you about this, Jake. 100% of massage therapists who graduate and become massage therapists professionally, 65% of them will quit within the first 2 years.
Yeah.
Because they couldn't hack it, plain and simple. Things were a little bit too hard. Clients were a little bit more demanding of different type of things, or I didn't sign up for this. This wasn't what I wanted to do. This is just like a part-time for me. No. If you're going to get into the healing arts, you got to commit to the healing arts. This is not one of those things, TV has you think, oh, it's a relaxing thing for you. Well, not when it comes to someone who specializes. When it comes to someone who specializes, this takes over your life. This takes over your life. You want to get out there. You want to see the Jakes of the world healed. You want to see them being able to do backflips and, bench press.
I'm not
I know,
bench pressing a lot of weight. Trust me.
But you want to see them do that. You want to see them go back to, the
Thank you.
happiness
Appreciate
that they
that.
had. You want to see them do that physically.
Someone that's searching around the country, because we're focused on the DMV, but anyone
Mm-hmm.
around the country, or even just listening to this, potentially, even let's say Asia, or even in Africa, or whoever, anywhere someone could be listening to this.
Yeah.
If they were trying, or they're looking or searching or seeking a massage therapist, where could they go? Most people have the internet. God, thank everything for just technology for that.
Oh, yeah.
But where does somebody start? Because it is. I think it is a challenge, especially if you have an injury.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess the question really is like, where would you recommend someone go that has an injury, It's not really, anybody can go and get a massage
Correct.
from wherever,
Right.
like you massage or massage envy,
Right.
you know.
But how do you find that specialist is what you're trying to tell me.
Exactly.
Yes. The same way you did, Jake. We had this conversation, you didn't just put into Google, hey, let me put a massage near me. Let me see what I can find. Yes, that's good for general. If you just felt like you wanted to go ahead and spend $100 and feel pretty good by the end of it, But what you did was like you literally went onto Groupon and then you read these Groupons. You didn't just go in and say, all right, well, let's see what this place has. Let me go ahead and try it. Let me see what this place had. No, you took the time to call. You took the time to try and say, do you have a specialist in trigger point therapy or myofascial therapy or whatever other type of therapies, the therapies that you were interested in because you've had this before, right?
Right, exactly.
So you wanted a specialist and you didn't find it. So then when you called me, you asked me literally, hey, I'm looking up your Groupon. I do want to purchase, and I see here that you do sports therapy. Do you include trigger point therapy? And one of my responses were, yes, because trigger point therapy is actually a modality. It's not just it's not the entire massage. It is a modality within the massage. You not only get trigger point therapy, but I also do deep tissue, myofascial. I mix and match anything that you need for that session. I like to customize what I do for my guests.
Right.
So you got to do the research. You got to go ahead and
yeah, people got to do the research with anything.
Well, yes, and it never hurts to just call and talk.
Yeah.
A therapist will always be more than happy to sit there and say, hey, yes, this is what I do, and maybe I can help you.
Right.
And I'm glad I did, because that's
Absolutely.
that's why we're here today.
Absolutely. Okay, a couple more things, but lastly, how can people reach you? It's not just to book an appointment, but just, they're looking for, a massage therapist, or how can they reach you?
To reach me, it's very, very, very simple. You can call my phone number at the office is 571-831-2848. Or you can also go onto my website if you wanted to go ahead and book and look through my website, see if, some of the modalities that I have on my website work for you. And that is www.energizemassages.com.
Okay. And we have one more thing before we close out.
Of course.
Any last words you want to say before we touch on what you and I are going to talk about here shortly?
Yeah. Well, basically, just to let everyone know, I really do recommend that you get your body worked on, and not just massage, but definitely get your body worked on. You can get your body stretched. You can get your body compressed. You can get your body anything you want. Just make sure you do it. There's a lot of new little modalities going around. There's a lot of old modalities that are becoming new again. So just make sure you find something that's for you, and definitely keep your body in motion. I'm glad that I said that. Body in motion in collaboration with All in Motion. So here we go.
Cool. No, I was just saying, when I used to see a chiropractor, I went through, just to really quickly touch on what, I'm glad you brought that up.
Mm-hmm.
I had the herniated disc. I went through at the chiropractor, decompression table.
Yes.
Stem cell.
Mm-hmm.
Trigger point. And then there's like 5 stations for me to make this.
Yeah.
And what I like about what you said, the last one was stretching.
Yes. Stretching is so good for
and they stretch me out like you do, and I'm like, and I'm not, I would be guilty to say I don't stretch normally. I mean,
No,
a lot of people say, a lot of people watch people in the gym. Most people don't. There are people that stretch, but they don't go like the distance if they had someone there. Would you agree with that? Like, to actually like assist them?
Yes, because the max someone will sit there and stretch is 7 seconds.
Yeah, they have to go at least for 15 to 30.
30 30 for me is the minimum. When I stretch you, I don't stretch for anything less than 20.
Right.
And you're sitting there sometimes trying to talk to me, but then you're sitting there also trying to take the breaths, and
It's important.
it is important. And stretching is so important, particularly for your lower back.
Right.
And for you, like I told you, it is paramount.
Right.
It's not even a luxury at this point. It is a necessity for you.
Right. Thank you, Danny.
No problem. I'm here.
I'll talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon.
Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. We really, really, really do. Thank you for coming by. AIM, and you're always welcome to come back. Just want to also thank you for, recognizing our guests from previous shows. Excuse me. Also want to thank the audience for tuning in. And I just want to say, being a combat veteran, or whoever you are out there, definitely, you want to keep yourself in check, and so, I just want to say thank you again, Danny, for taking time out of your day, to stop by AIM. As Danny said before, office in Fairfax, number is 571-831-2848. Energize with the Z, massage.com. And make sure to follow AIM, Spotify, Google, and the rest. This is Jake from AIM. Take care and be safe.